In this video, we are going to demonstrate how to perform crossed Gage R and R. Visit the URL qtools.zometric.com and log in with your credentials. Click on Crossed Gage R and R in the list of statistical analysis tools. Crossed Gage R and R is utilized to evaluate the level of variability within the measurement system by having each operator measure every part included in the study. Crossed Gage R and R study is used to assess the variation in a measurement system. The study must have a balanced design, which means every operator participating in the study must measure every part, equal number of times. For example, an engineer selects 10 parts that represent the expected range of the process variation. For the study, 3 operators measure the 10 parts, 3 times per part, in random order. In the data pane on the left, we need to capture the data for crossed Gage R and R analysis. Please note the 3 columns of data required. In the parts, operator and measurement columns, we need the name of the part, the name of the operator and the measured value respectively. We can enter data manually by clicking on the edit mode at the bottom of the data pane, or we can copy and paste from Excel files or Google Sheets using Ctrl-C Ctrl-V in Windows, or Command-C Command-V in Mac. Now, in the options pane on the right, we can see some optional and mandatory parameters. We need to select the method of analysis to perform our study. We can choose either ANOVA or XBAR and R as method of analysis depending on the standard followed or customer requirements. Study variation is the number of standard deviations we would like to consider as the variation in the study. This is by default 6, which includes 99.73% of possible measurements. We can change this if required. LSL stands for lower specification limit, which represents the minimum acceptable value for a quality characteristic. Here, we keep it as -2.16. USL is the upper limit of the acceptable range for the measurements being taken. For our current example, it is 2.26. Alpha, also known as significance level, is by default 0.05 or 5%, indicating that there is a 5% chance of observing a significant difference or variation in the measurement system due to random chance alone. Process variation refers to the variation that is inherent in the process or method used to make the measurements. We can choose either using parts in study or using historical standard deviation. We need to put the value of historical standard deviation if we choose the process variation method as historical standard deviation. For this example, we are using process variation as parts in study. Click on the Calculate button and wait for the results to load. Crossed Gage R and R charts are interactive, and we can visualize better by navigating the cursor over the results. For an in-depth understanding of crossed Gage R and R and usage guidelines, refer to the help documentation or concept video.